my friends, to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
One guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about Godzilla and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, Cass and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast from Odo Island. Welcome to the podcast from Odo Island. Follow us on Twitter at Odo Island Pod. I am the illustrious Kess, and with me as always, he wakes up muddy and goes to bed bloody because he's a trapping man. Slick, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Here we are recording remotely because we live in an area that it was 70 degrees out 2 days ago, and we are in the middle of a snowstorm that has dumped a foot of snow on us. So even though we live half a mile or about a mile from each other, here we are recording remotely. So
Thanks COVID for teaching us how to do that.
Yep.
So the main course this week, as you know, we're finishing off the Rebirth of Mothra Trilogy with Rebirth of Mothra 3. Slick, do you want to start things off with any news items?
I don't think I have anything too noteworthy. We're recording this on Friday. If we were recording this past Sunday, there is a Godzilla Battle Line Summit, the third summit in Godzilla Battle Line. Because, we are the unofficial official podcast of Godzilla Battle Line. I think that's our claim to fame now.
Sure.
So we're going to miss out on all the news that's announced on Sunday. I'll be watching Sunday morning. Probably with a Bloody Mary in hand, because maybe I'll be celebrating other things at the same time, not just that Battle Line Summit. That's neither here nor there. But no other. I don't think there was anything noteworthy or newsworthy really this week.
You didn't see anything new? Maybe a little snippet of a new Gigan?
Oh, the gemstone thing?
There you go.
Yeah, well, that's been around for a long time.
But you saw how the new design looked?
Yeah, so the gemstone thing is like a fan-made thing that Toho's endorsing.
Yes.
Yeah, which is cool. It's not often you see independent fan-made stuff. I don't know. I'm not super super well-versed in the gemstone thing, so maybe I'm wrong calling it fan-made, but yeah, that's been around for a couple years, and it's cool that Toho is promoting it. So we'll see how that goes. I've seen that guy again a couple years ago when it first.
Oh, I didn't see it.
So, no. So that's been out. That's been out. It's just getting a push because we're officially in the year of Gigan now. Now that it's the 50th anniversary of Godzilla versus Gigan. So yeah, no, that's been around. So. But it's cool, I'm glad. I guess we're going to get more of that. I don't know. I don't really have too much of it to say about it. But,
he looks like a big fish.
Did you watch the full minute, sizzle reel?
No.
Oh, yeah. So there's a whole minute-long sizzle reel for that. It's
a whole minute-long sizzle chest there?
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean,
is that right, Lips?
But no, it's cool. It's at some point there's a whole army of Gigans that come down, and Godzilla's fighting all of them. So yeah, it looks cool. But yeah. So glad to see it's getting the push. It's getting the rub.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got for newsworthy items. Yeah, you wanna get into it? Do you want to set the dinner tray? Yes.
There's actually a little bit to discuss with this movie. Not much prior, not much in terms of background, but we are wrapping up the trilogy with Rebirth of Mothra 3. Came out in 1998, and unfortunately made less than the other two movies in the trilogy. I blame the second movie. I don't know if that's true at all, but I'm just going to go with that. But in the original drafts of this movie, and this is pretty much like the only real noteworthy trivia I could find for this movie, that Rodan was originally going to be the villain for this movie, and he was ultimately swapped out for King Ghidorah. But when Rodan was originally filling that role, Mothra would not have gone back to the Cretaceous. Is it Cretaceous? Yeah, whatever. To the land before time. Mothra was not going to go to the land before time. She would have gone to the medieval Japan and would have fought young Rodan in medieval Japan, which that would have been cool, but I don't want to jump ahead too much. I was pretty fucking pumped we got Mothra in the land before time. So
yeah, let's talk about that scene first. So there's there's a scene where Mothra goes back in time to dinosaur times, and it's just like, this is 5 years after Jurassic Park, and it looks like it was made 10 years before Jurassic Park.
So again, I have somehow had like my head in the sand like this entire trilogy. I did not like. I knew that like something happened with like Mothra in the land before time, as I'm just gonna keep saying. But I never like really paid attention to this trilogy literally until we started watching it for this podcast. But I remember like when this one came out, I remember like seeing like in GFan and just like, I don't know, over the years, people go like, oh yeah, the third one's good, but like that like dinosaur stuff was like so bad. And I think in like 1998, yeah, like it looks awful, or like it just looks very out of date. But me watching it in 2021 or 2022, I fucking loved it. It was like corny, but I could not get enough of it.
The way I described it was, you said it was KG versus Mothra, and I was like, oh, so it's Kevin Garnett versus Mothra. And then this happened, and I was like, it kind of looks like the Godzilla versus Barkley like effects a little bit back at this time. You can tell everything's like really tiny, and like it's a shot to look big, and then like King Ghidorah shows up and like bites into like the little toy. like
yeah, you have the T-Rex biting a Triceratops, and then young King Ghidorah comes and bites the T-Rex.
And it's like, I'm usually like a fan of like the practical effects and stuff like that, but here I was just like, okay, I know this is a toy biting another toy, and I know this is some sort of suit type of thing where it's like one of the heads is just chomping into the toy. Like that's how it looks. It does not look realistic in the slightest.
It did not, but for some reason I was like, I can't get enough of this. I was like, I need, and then it's like, so yeah, we've totally jumped into like the last third of the movie, but that's all right. But during that part, like Mothra shreds off a piece of Ghidorah's tail, and then the tail burrows underground, and then the T-Rex and the Triceratops like watch it, and then they do the whole gag where they kind of like turn and look at each other, go like, "Did you just see that?" I don't know, T-Rex. I think it's been a long night. And I was like, when that happened, I was like, no, that's like a top 5. That's a top 5 movie moment right there. I was like, that's so absurd. I was dying over that.
So yeah, I think for both of us, that was the best part of the movie, like bar none. Well, the part we got the most enjoyment out of anyway. But let's
yeah.
Now that we got that out of the way, let's jump back. So, of all the Rebirth of Mothra movies we've watched, this is by far the most recent.
It is by far the most recent, yes.
It's better than the last one, I'll say that. So basically you have the Elias, hello, my name is Elias twins, or triplets. And
triplets now, yeah.
Laura and Mal.
Oh no, not triplets. They established she's older. There's older. Yeah, they're all different ages.
Whatever. Well, Mal and Laura are the good ones, and Belvira is the bad one still. So no changes yet. I think
she kind of goes in tweener. I think.
Yeah, but she's still the bad one.
Yeah,
she's wearing all black. She's got the dragon thing that's actually a robot, which hasn't come into play since the first one.
He's got a sick eyepiece now, though.
And like basically, they have the Triforce of courage, wisdom, and love, and they don't really know what to do with it. And so basically, what happens is they're like, "Oh, well, Ghidorah's back. He was here 130 million years ago because apparently that's how long ago the dinosaurs were. It wasn't 65, it wasn't 80, it was 130 million years ago.
Look, I mean, only Mothra was there, so I think they got some inside knowledge now.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Well, anyway, so Ghidorah's back, and Ghidorah's why all the dinosaurs went extinct, and he's back for your kids.
That's yes, needs to power up. And he's just kidnapping kids all around. It's quite a new plan for King Ghidorah. Just kidnapping children, putting them in a dome.
He's Batman Returns Penguin.
Yes, exactly.
He's Ghidorah's running for mayor. His parents were PV and Simone.
I like that on the human side too. Like we kind of get like another, it's a little bit more of like a working class family, a
lot more reminiscent. Of the
whereas
first
like,
movie.
yeah, except they're like a little bit more blue collar. Whereas like the first one, like the father was like the supervisor of this big like excavation company who drank beers at like the most random times, which I'm fine with that. But he's kind of an asshole. But this seemed like kind of like like the everyday kind of nice blue collar family. And Shota is the main kid, and he's just like, I don't know, like he was so refreshing compared to all the annoying little shits that we got in the last movie. So much more refreshing having this kid just kind of playing it cool, but also kind of being like, yeah, he's like I kind of got my issues, but like I'm gonna do my best. And he was much more refreshing than the last movie with all those like obnoxious like children that I wanted to get locked in that temple.
After the last movie, and we were just watching this going, oh God, this is one of the worst movies we've watched for this podcast. Like nothing about this movie was as bad as it was in the last movie. Like everything was like much better quality, and I gotta say the human cast was much better.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught this, but there was a Sonic and a Tails plushie in this movie. Did you catch that?
No.
There was a Sonic plushie in the house, and then the truck that the dad drives, he had a Tails plushie on the back of his seat.
He's a big Miles Prower fan.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's like, but Ghidorah shows up fairly early, and I said to you offline when I was like watching this movie, I was like, this Ghidorah design is like pretty awesome. I thought
he is King Ghidorah of the Black Throne. He's got those big horns sticking out.
Yeah, he's got the Malachi black horns, and I like how it was like they did this too with like the Cretaceous design, where it was like the guy whoever is playing King Ghidorah, like they had like one scene for both present day Ghidorah and like prehistoric Ghidorah, where it's like get a little running start to like go take off and fly, and I was like that was cool. And also I noticed Ghidorah did the double foot stomp, the Finn Balor foot stomp, both in the
coup de grace
present day and in prehistoric times. And I was like, well, this Ghidorah's got a signature move.
Yep. I thought this design was really cool. It's the first time I've seen it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the coolest one since the Gigan suit where he's all grizzled. He was the grizzled vet.
He had the Andre sideburns in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this better than the 91 suit and the GMK suit.
Yeah, I don't like the GMK suit. I think it's like pretty stiff and rigid and not realistic. This one I thought was way better, to be honest. I wish they switched them.
Yeah. Did you like the prehistoric Ghidorah design?
Yeah, it wasn't as cool as the present day one, but it was still fine. I had no problem with it. The Mothra designs I thought were pretty neat. Like
Mothra definitely goes full on Power Rangers in this movie.
Yeah, Mothra's like metal design was cool. Like the translucent wings were really nice. It's all 90s computer graphics though, so it doesn't look great. But like if you watch it with your imagination, it's cool.
Like also I like that Mothra got the Michael Jackson Moonwalker design towards the end when he pops out as a with like all like that like armor on at like the very end of the movie. And I was like, oh yeah, it's like, you know, Michael Jackson. That was it. Moonwalker, was that the movie where he turns into the weird like robot thing towards the end?
I don't know.
It's in the Sega Genesis video game.
I'm more of a Weird Al guy.
But I think that's called Eternal Mothra. There's like 5 names for Mothra in this movie, like that are not spoken in the movie, but like from a merchandising standpoint, like every version of Mothra has like a different name in this movie. There's like when Mothra's going back in time, that's like Lightspeed Mothra or something like that. And I was like, they did merchandise the shit out of this.
He looks like a dart.
Yeah, I think that was like, I was like, isn't that just the Aqua Mothra from the last movie?
It looked similar, yeah, but more dart-like. Dart.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's a Lightspeed Mothra.
I think overall, I think the metal design was the coolest. The Leo design, the way Mothra starts off in the movie, is the second. The end design was cool at the end because it's more like the original Mothra looking. He's a little hairier. And then I'd go with the Darthra is the worst.
Yeah. I think I'm on board. I think I'm on board with all that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's like, you know, we've kind of hit different points of this movie, but like, there's not like a ton to this movie. It's pretty much like, which is fine with me. Like, I was entertained by it because like King Ghidorah shows up, steals all the kids, kicks the shit out of Mothra. Mothra just, you know, decides, well, it's only one thing to do. It's just go back in time. And everyone just goes, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll just go back in time.
As Ghidorah's beating the bag out of Mothra, the Elias twins get kind of split up because Lara turns heel. She gets possessed by the devil. Oh, yes, yeah. And she turns heel on Maul and like starts to like choke her, and they fall off ferry, and Lara falls into the cube or the giant ball that Ghidorah is keeping the kids in, and Maul falls off to the side with, what's the main kid's name again?
Shota.
He's there, and they sort of meet up, and excuse me, he helps Maul sort of unhatch Mothra's plan, which is to go back in time.
Yeah, and he's like totally like nonplussed by the whole thing. He's just, or not, I shouldn't say he's nonplussed, I should say he's just like, all right, well, that's what we got to do. That's what we're going to do. And then he goes out and he taunts King Ghidorah in an open field. I was like, good on you, kid. I like this kid.
That's his job. He had to go into the ball to find Lara, because that was Maul's last wish, because this movie has a body count, or doesn't. So
it's got a little kid movie body count where you all come back at the end.
Yeah. It gets retconned. It's like Star Wars. So Maul kind of like sacrifices her power to help Mothra go back in time, and she becomes dead / stone, I guess. I don't know. It didn't look great.
Yeah. When she, I don't know what she does. Goes like Walt Disney style suspended animation.
Right. All right. So Maul freezes herself in carbonite, and the kid goes into the ball sack, and he's looking for Lara and his brother and sister, and finds her, but she's like evil. She doesn't look the same. It almost looked like it was a different actress during that scene. But
I think she really just like did it. I think they really just did her hair differently, and I think that was it.
But it was like so different that it looked like a completely different actress was in that.
Yeah.
It was like very jarring to me. But meanwhile, this is while Mothra goes back in time to fight Child Ghidorah, Prince Ghidorah, I will call him.
We get to see young upstart King Ghidorah.
Yeah, and so they have their fight back then, and Mothra wins, but it doesn't really finish Ghidorah this time. Like, he vanishes, but then immediately comes right back. Like, was that
right? Because his tail. Because his tail.
Yeah. So he's back, but Mothra, like, kind of dies, but there are other Mothra larvae around, so they cocoon Mothra, like, you know, as Mothra's dying, and for 130 million years, it's just sitting there.
Yeah, this is very like I know you don't watch like Doctor Who, but this is like very Doctor Who solution to problems and like the way like you address like time travel. It's just kind of like yes, it's all happening at once, and you're all moving into the present together, regardless of when you're doing something.
Right.
Or as the way they just kind of sum it up, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. That's kind of like, that's what's going on here.
It's like it follows the footsteps of like a newer Terminator movie where Arnold's back in time, and so like young Arnold back in the day, and now it's like current day Arnold who's like still from that time. He's just been waiting there the whole time.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do, like a Doctor Who. And
he has a wife and a son, and like he doesn't have sex with his wife. He's not intimate with her at all. And they explain it because he has like no feelings or emotion. He's just there for her. I'm very out of the loop on the new Terminator movie. So, well, I'm just explaining what Mothra was up to during the 130 million years. Mothra had a wife and a son.
Going back to the body count thing, in this movie, King Ghidorah totally wipes out like half a city. Like, yes. And I think like they definitely show people getting wiped out by King Ghidorah as he attacks that city.
I mean, he flies between two buildings, and it looks really cool. I was like, oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah, in the last two movies, we barely got any like city destruction scenes, or at least any like, in the last movie, it's like we kind of got it like in like, they did the thing where the monster's like in the background, and it's just kind of like rear projection, and like this was like oh no, this is like actually King Ghidorah is like attacking stuff, and people are like reacting to it, and it's good. It's good to get that.
Yep. I thought the whole setup was just the best it's been so far. It was just like, okay, you have like the Legend of Zelda, Fairy Elias sisters backstory, and then you have Ghidorah versus Mothra. Like, and Ghidorah is way more powerful than Mothra and beats the bag out of him. So Mothra has to go fight, go back in time to kill Hitler as a baby. I mean, go back in time to kill King Ghidorah as a young King Ghidorah. And then they wind up having a fight again in the future as themselves, but King Ghidorah is still his normal self, but Mothra gains 130 million years worth of superpowers.
Yeah. Also, just like Doctor Who, where the Doctor... contemplates going back in time to stop the creation of the Daleks, and but that's a different pod. But ultimately succeeds in killing King Ghidorah with like just another random superpower that I do like how Ghidorah he gets hit with this like random laser thing that Mothra has developed, and he just like slowly starts to like explode and then just blows up.
My favorite part of this was when Mothra like clips Ghidorah's wing and then just chops it off completely.
Oh yeah, and then he still remains flying though.
Yes,
that was a little weird to me, but yes, that was. Yeah, Mothra Leo does not fuck around in these movies.
Haven't you listened to any doctors? You only need one.
Yeah.
So then Mothra defeats King Ghidorah, and the kids are saved again. And Mothra transforms from Metal Mothra to Hairy Mothra. It serves no purpose either.
Yeah, but well, it does just to sell toys. Although I don't think they actually made any.
I meant for the story. Yes, that is why they did it.
Yeah. Although I don't know if there are any Leo figures of those last couple forms. I will say this. I did not know this until it just dawned on me when I was watching this movie. I have a prehistoric King Ghidorah figure, and I had no idea. And then I was just in the room that I'm recording in, where most of my Godzilla collection is. I just looked around and looked at my shelf, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's prehistoric Ghidorah. I got a figure. That's pretty sweet."
So it's like this movie created and filled a void in your collection, and you had it the whole time.
It did, because, well, I tell you, after we watched the first movie, I was like, I need I need to see if how much like a Des Ghidorah Bandai figure goes for. It turns out way too much money. So they released one, and I don't think a lot of people got it because it's on eBay for almost $200 now. So
Playmates.
So and I don't
Playmates.
And I don't
Solve
think
this problem.
I know. I mean, Playmates is showing that they are going to make a figure of any sort of random thing that they feel like making, so why not? But yeah, so shall we start ranking it?
Yeah, well, after they I just want to talk about the end of the movie though. So the Elias twins realize that their Triforces become swords, so it becomes the Master Sword. It shoots a laser. And then they use the laser on Maul, and she comes back to life. So she's not dead. So -1 with body count.
-1. -1. But again, we had all those scenes of Ghidorah attacking the city where body count's probably like 500. You know, yeah. So we'll go with that.
So Maul is like the Param and Param of this movie.
That's a good Final Fantasy IV reference right there. You know, I like that Belvira kind of completes her face turn.
Yes.
In this movie.
Yeah, so she's full on... we didn't talk about it that well, and I kind of set it up to do that, so that was my fault. Belvira starts off more of a heel, and then by the end of the movie, they're pretty much like... They're like, we don't agree, but we're still family. And I'm kind of like, oh, well, that's a calming message for today's day and age, but...
Yeah, but you know, I was glad they all ended up in a happy place. So that's... I was all right with that.
But now that we got that out of the way, yeah, let's rank this shiz. So main eventers are 5-Boy, Jabberski is a 1, and 2, 3, and 4 are lower, middle, and upper mid carders. I went first last time. Where are you ranking this one?
So it's going to be a 3 from me, but it's going to be... I actually enjoy this movie a ton. I was very entertained by it. Like, I don't believe in the whole doing 3.5 and all that shit. If you do 3.5, just have a 10-star scale. Like, I hate that shit. But so it's a 3, but it's like the highest 3 I could give because I actually found this to be very entertaining. You know, it was like I didn't have to really think too hard about anything that was happening. I was very entertained. The second they went to the land before time, I said, "Oh boy, this is fantastic." Like, I enjoyed prehistoric Ghidorah. I enjoyed volcanoes just constantly shooting off for no reason. I enjoyed the toy dinosaurs. I was on board with all of it. And then, like, when the random armored prehistoric Mothra larvae come out, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is some good stuff right here." Is what this is. But of course, in that gag with the T-Rex and the Triceratops, I just, you know, I'll never forget that moment. That's a moment etched in my life forever. So it's a 3, but it's the highest 3. There's no way I can give this movie 4 stars. There's no way. So it's a solid 3. It's a very entertaining 3.
So Rebirth of Mothra for me was a 2. Rebirth of Mothra 2 was a 1. So it's Rebirth of Mothra 1 is a 2. Rebirth of Mothra 2 is a 1. Say that 5 times fast. And so Rebirth of Mothra 3 is a 3 for me too. More of a middle 3, not really an upper 3. It doesn't even come close to a 4 for me. But like, this was neither terrible nor exceptional. It's just kind of like okay, I've seen it now type of movie.
Yeah.
I like Mothra and Ghidorah have their own fighting dynamic. Without Godzilla in the mix, it's like, okay, I was mostly curious on going into this one, how would they fight each other? And it kind of played out like how I didn't expect. I was expecting Mothra to keep on getting like more powers throughout the fight. Instead, Mothra just completely lost and had to go back in time, and like it was almost like a Rocky training montage. Well, you didn't see the montage because Mothra was cocooned for
was traveling through time during that montage.
so it's like Rocky 3, but with no montage. And I kind of liked the metal Mothra and the hairy Mothra at the end. I was like, yeah, just keep changing and doing this. Like, it's cool. It works. I loved the Legend of Zelda storyline between the Elias sisters. It's been my favorite one so far. Just because I was watching it, I was like, I know this story. This is amusing to me.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, like the family seemed to be like the most believable and like normal cast of characters that the movies have had so far, and none of them upset me. They're all like completely fine. 3, a solid 3. If you have all 3 of them in your hand and you say, okay, the other 2 are gone forever, I can only keep one, this is the one you keep.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. This movie did a good job of King Ghidorah. Very much looks like a very credible threat in this movie. Like, I often say this, like, King Ghidorah is in a bunch of movies, and everyone's like, oh, King Ghidorah is like, Godzilla's arch enemy or whatever, but it's like, well, he loses in most every movie he's in.
Yeah,
so,
but he's also usually outnumbered too.
Right. But it's like it's not often that King Ghidorah actually gets a win. And it's like, I think this movie did it right. Give Ghidorah the win early in the movie, like convincingly. And even like when Mothra goes back in time, like prehistoric Ghidorah, like still pretty much kicks Mothra's ass, like in the prehistoric times. And like Mothra has to like kind of win like on a fluke. So like it was good. Like Ghidorah is presented as like a good threat, strong strong heel for the babyface to conquer, the monster heel for the babyface to go over on.
And it's
they all look good in the end.
Ghidorah had a cool, sleek new look for the Attitude Era.
Yeah, this is very 1998 Mothra versus King Ghidorah versus Mountain Dew Mothra, as I've said through this whole trilogy.
It was like when Boss Man gave up the baby blue uniform and went with like the flak SWAT suit,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But like,
got
this
that
is like
banging theme music.
Stole Big Show's daddy's casket. But this I don't know. I knew nothing about Mothra Leo, like really going into this. Like I feel like you can wipe the second movie from the face of the earth and nobody will miss it.
Yeah.
But the first movie and this movie I found very entertaining. I have a new appreciation for Mountain Dew Mothra Leo. Or I guess it's more like this is like the surge of Mothra Leos.
Yes.
Now that's a very dated reference for a very small portion of this listening audience in this podcast. If you remember Surge Soda,
yeah, you're
not we were in high school.
You're not going far back as Beverly Hills Cop with Serge. You're talking about Surge the soda. I want even more obscure than you.
Yes, you did. Well, what was like the other Surge that was like out? We were in high school. These are like the precursors to like Red Bull.
No, there was like Jolt Cola.
Jolt, that is the other one I was thinking of. Yes, this is a. But Mothra Leo feels a little bit classier than Jolt, so I think we'll stick with the Surge.
Jolt got a bad rap.
Well, there we go. We finished the trilogy. I was glad we saw it. Glad we finally got into it.
Yeah, like after 2, I was like, I'm gonna be glad when this is behind me. And now after watching 3, I'm kind of like, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. 2 was a real stinker.
Yeah. 2 is number 2. Hey, Slick, you get any figs?
I sure did. Did you?
I sure did. So, kayfabe, 2 weeks ago was my birthday, and so I was lucky enough to win some monies betting on the old the big game,
the old footballs.
Yeah, the big game in February, and so I went out, bought myself a nice little guitar thing, and then right next to the Guitar Center was a Walmart, so I poked my head in the door, saw what was going on, and it was just like a wall of roaring Godzillas and Kongs in front of me. And
yeah.
I was like,
we both got one out of this trip.
Yeah, I texted you. I was just like, "You want anything from this?" Because I was like, "I'm definitely getting this." And kayfabe, there was also 2 basic Bobby Fishes there, so I got one for both of us.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I got this roaring Godzilla or the Battle Roar Godzilla, and it's cool. I kept it in the box so I could just hang on my wall and I could poke it, and it gives me the roar.
Yeah, I was gonna say yours is still carded.
Yeah,
I ripped mine right out.
Yeah, I kept it on more because, like, you know how when, like, I don't know if your house was like this, but mine, when I was a kid, my mom used to hang like that barracuda in the wall, and like you walk by it, it would just like sing at you.
We do not have one of those, but I'm aware of those. Yes.
Yeah. So I grew up with one of those in my house, and those always amused me. So it kind of reminds me of that, but like I just have to touch it, and it does the Godzilla roar. That amuses me.
Yeah. So so this is kind of part of the early trend of Godzilla figures now looking upwards for some reason with Playmates, but that's cool. That's all right. Some of them look good. I actually think this figure, like, I didn't know it, like, at first I was like, I don't know, that figure looks stupid. I don't know if I, like, really care about having it. Then once I had it in hand, I was like, no, this is actually kind of cool. I like this. It looks better than that goofy, what do they call it? What's the other one that's, like, looking upwards awkwardly to the sky? Like, the supercharged Godzilla figure?
Yeah, like...
The one where the head's, like, kind of crooked looking up?
Yeah, the one where I when in OIWF, when I want to make it look like he got punched in the face, I use that figure.
Yes, that one. Like, this one, like, looks back as, like, the head's a little bit, like, looking more straight upwards. I don't know. I feel like it's trying to go for, like, that end of Godzilla 2014, where he kind of, like, roars to the sky when he gets up in San Francisco, like, towards the end of the movie. I feel like it goes for that vibe.
So, like, the original line of the GVK figures had, like, very, like, sort of awkward-looking faces for the Godzilla figures, and this doesn't really have that as much. This is more or less like a fixed, like, you know, they took all the problems from the first run and they fixed the issues. So, if the head looked as good as on this as it did like on the previous ones, like, I think those figures would have been better received, you know? Yeah.
Playmates just, you know, they're doing lots of good things, but they still love to get a little awkward from time to time. It's still a little awkward looking, but it's good.
One thing they do really well is like the translucent plastic stuff they have going on with these figures.
Yes,
they've been spot on with that. They should just release like a total line of figures with like translucent
figures.
Yeah.
Playmates, you're the top translucent figure maker in the game, is what you are.
I want a Hong Kong Lights Gigan. I want a Hong Kong Lights Orga.
Yeah, everything should have that variant going on, is what should happen.
Hong Kong Lights Destroyer, Hong Kong Lights Bylante. Can you imagine how goofy a Hong Kong Lights Space Godzilla would look?
No, it look awesome. That'd be great.
No, but like the first run of Playmates figures...
Do you know, all they're going to do with that figure is, like, carve teeth into his mouth. That's, like... that will go a long way with that figure.
He does have a mouth guard on. He's like a wrestling shooter.
Yeah, exactly. He's the Kurt Angle of the Playmates line. They just gotta put a little effort to make some teeth in there, and that's like that's a 100 times better looking figure.
But this figure has teeth, and it just looks good overall. It amuses me, so... If you see one, pick one up. They were like $15, so yeah, still very affordable figures.
Yeah, a little bit of Playmates trivia. You don't have, so I have like the bigger, like the whatever it is, the 10-inch roaring like Mega Godzilla. Uses the same roars as that figure does.
Oh, cool! So I don't feel bad about missing that one. That figure put me in because the lights on it lit up the wrong way.
Oh, I don't know. If you ever see that figure is awesome. If you ever see it, I recommend getting it.
I've seen it, but I'm just saying the lights go backwards. You know, it should start from the tail and go up the neck, but it starts in the neck.
Oh yeah, this one does the Godzilla Ultima style, where it goes from the top of the head down.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Doesn't work for me, brother. But it also like launches a missile like 20 miles an hour out of its mouth, so that's kind of impressive too.
Did you get anything else?
I did. I got my first of what is going to be many Mezco purchases this year. So not one of the Godzilla ones, but I got the Ultraman and Red King playset from one of the best original Ultraman episodes, with the debut of Red King. And one day when I convince you to do like a random sampling of Ultraman episodes, I think this episode that this playset is from will definitely be one of them, because Red King is quite the dastardly heel in the those old school Ultraman shows. And but yeah, this is like one of like the Mezco, like the 5 points articulation lines, which is like what the Shrell monster set's going to be part of, and the Mothra set, and then the new Godzilla versus Ghidorah set. Like these are all part of like that 5 point articulation lines, and like, you know, the figures are like, they're like 3/4 inch scale, like, and they're like super detailed. The figures look great. It comes with this like awesome like little like backdrop like playset thing to put them on. Rig King gets a random giant rock to throw at Ultraman, and you get some Ultraman comes with like 2 sets of arms, like one doing just like kind of like more like a typical like kind of like fighting pose, and the other does like the Specium Ray, which is Ultraman's finish. If you're not in the know, that's his finish, is the Spacium Ray.
I did not know that.
Yes, so you get a set of arms to do the Specium Ray as well. So very good, very very good figures. It just makes me more pumped for the Godzilla ones that are going to be coming in a few months. And I also pre-ordered the Godzilla versus Ghidorah playset that Mezco's doing, because it just seems like everyone's like hyped about the Super 7 stuff. I am too. But I think this Mezco stuff is going to end up being like the best figures of the year.
Yeah.
That's going to, of all lines, I think it's going to be the best figures of the year.
From what I've seen, those figures look awesome. I saw that you got the Ultraman set, and that looked cool. The Mezco one you got, the Ghidorah one, I was like, I knew you're going to get that. There was no way you were passing that up.
It looks so good.
I do really want the Destroy All Monsters set. I just, I haven't come to grips with paying that much for it just yet. Maybe someday.
Yep.
But the thing is, it only costs as much as it does because they give you so much in there. Like if you itemize it out, it's very reasonable.
Right. I think it works out to be. It's like almost 7 different. I think it's 7 or 8 different figures, and like most of them have like come with like different heads, different limbs, and like a lot of them like come with like whatever like their atomic rays are or their fire beams are or whatever. Like they all come with like accessories that you can like, you get a lot of stuff for your money. And
like it reminds me of like the WWE Elite line or like the AEW lines where you get like a bunch of alternate heads or like, chairs, belts, things like that. Like, it comes with a lot of accessories. They look really good. It reminds me of those lines, and that's the same price. So like price point wise, like no complaints. Like it only like looks scary at first. Like it's like $60, $80 for like the set, but like once you realize what's in there, it's like, oh, okay, so it's like you're just basically getting 4 sets at once.
Yeah, you're getting 4 figures with like multiple heads,
right?
And stuff.
Right.
So, but I guess along the same lines, we also got a little bit more information on the Super 7 Ultimates, which have not been revealed yet. We have seen the teasers for the reaction line, but it sounds like the Ultimates are going to be large. It sounds like they're going to be very, very big, and it sounds like they're going to be in 2 packs. And it sounds like they're starting with modern designs and working backwards from modern designs, but we don't really know what that means. Like, we don't know if that means modern from a Toho sense or modern from like a legendary sense. But sounds like they're also going to be pricey. Yep. Sounds like they're going to be like in the $80-ish range a piece.
Yep.
But I mean, I guess we'll see what we're gonna get. It's I don't know. I mean, if they're really impressive, like, I'll say this. I think like when I don't know what like an ultimate Super 7 figure would look like, but I'm gonna guess compare it to like in the wrestling world, like Cardona, Myers, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows' figures.
Yeah.
And
the New Japan figures too.
Yeah, I think those are really cool. I don't think but I don't know if I think they're better than like Mattel Elites or something like that. Like, I don't know. These are going to have to be really impressive to me, I guess, to spend $80 a figure. Right. When we just came out of like years of NECA making really sweet figures for like $25, you know,
less, you know.
Yeah, right. So like,
and with Mezco doing their line too, like, you know, who's to say that those won't be just as good?
Yeah, right, and like, you know, like Mezco, I'm totally down paying, like, you know, I paid $160 some odd for the Destroy All Monster set, but I'm going to get 8 figures out of that.
That's what I mean. It's totally worth
you know?
it. Price wise, totally worth it. And they all look awesome, and it's like the most iconic scene in Godzilla history, like that you get to set up. So I think that's awesome. Like that's the set I would want too if I were to get it.
So I'm pumped for the reaction line, because like those are like $20 figures. Like, you know, I think that's kind of like their bread and butter, that reaction line. You know, but yeah, we'll have to see with the Ultimates. You know, I'm that price point of $85. I go like, well, you know, that's like SH Monster Arts territory is like what that is, and you know, I didn't really go out and buy many of those, so
I think
we'll see.
The SH Monster Arts and the X Plus and like those appeal to like the high end collectors who, like, you know, have the coin to spend on those type of items, you know, like we're the blue collar man, we're the working man, you know.
Well, let's be fair. I got a fair amount of X Plus in my collection, and those are worth the coin. I have.
Well, I represent the blue collar man, the working man, the common man, and you know, I think of all these newer lines, I think the Mezco appeals to me the most. Like the Super 7 reactor line will too, and I'll be down for those. But the Mezco Destroy All Monsters line, definitely best in my opinion. But the Ghidorah one looks really cool too when they announced that. Do they have any other lines? They have the Mothra one too.
Yeah, the Mothra one, the Destroy All Monsters one, then this one. This one being the Ghidorah one. So not this time, but actually that's a lot. So I think the Ghidorah one, I don't think is coming out till towards the end of this year.
Yeah.
So the Destroy All Monsters one, right now, the pre-orders say they're going to come out originally it was like January, February, but that's been pushed to May. And then the Mothra one, I think, is June. And then the Ghidorah one, I think, is like the end of summer, beginning of fall. So, yeah. So, yeah, it sounds like they're pretty set for the year. So
cool. Well, like I said, these are cool, and I'm looking forward to see what Super 7 has too. But the price point does kind of scare me a little bit.
Yep. We'll see.
But do you want to kayfabe it up now?
Let's kayfabe it up.
Let's just keep this ball rolling straight into the OIWF.
All right.
Yeah.
Straight into it.
I don't know. Not much happened on my end of the island. There was a world title match. You know. Do I really have to? Okay, I'll talk about it. Over the weekend, Neca Shin Godzilla defended the real quote-unquote World's Championship against Dandai Mecha King Ghidorah. And it looked like we were going to have a new champion right off the bat, but unfortunately, the NWO, their strength in numbers, and they got us again. But I don't think this is the end of the line for Dandai King Ghidorah and the NECA World Order. I think there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, word in the street is that he's out for blood.
I think one by one, you're going to see Dandai Mecha King Ghidorah get his revenge and try to even out that record against the NWO.
An eye for a Dandai, as one would say.
Very good. If this were BDF, you would have just named the episode. Like
I was just sipping some water. I almost did a spit take on that.
like ex-wife XL. Well, ex-wife FL, the football league. Yeah, I botched that one. Take a shot.
Well, we had some big happenings on my side of the island. Brand new tag team champions.
I saw
the world toy, the not sinister at all world toy organization's power grows as first it was the debut of 2 new bootleg Imperial Godzilla figures named Imperial Midori, because that's green in Japanese, and also We all used to drink Midori Sours. And Imperial Meltdown, for lack of a better name. And, there was a little bit of hijinks going on in that triple threat tag title match, but the World Tour Organization's Imperial Bootlegs got the win over former champions, Trendmasters of the Universe, and now former champions, Bandai Bandai Titanosaurus and Trendmasters Varan. But, again, now without a little bit of controversy, battle spilled to the floor. Imperial Godzilla did a run-in, hit the stunner on Titanosaurus, and then Imperial Midori, because he has that big eyebrow painted on his head, of course his signature move is a rock bottom. I mean, Imperial bottom. And that was just too much for Titanosaurus to kick out of. And again, their first appearance in the OIWF, and they get gold. So it's just this World Tour Organization is really shaping up to be a force to be reckoned with on the side
gold.
of the island. One could only imagine that that Imperial Godzilla and his cronies are on a collision course with the world title. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Yep. He who has the gold has the power. I'm a big fan of the not sinister at all World Toy Organization. Best thing you've done.
And there's some other things. I think they also have their eye on the Mid-Atlantic title. They could be trying to recruit. They could be recruiting some numbers this week.
Excellent.
That's a little tease right there.
Other happenings on my side of the island include the Playmates Apex Mecha Godzilla refusing to join the legendary Cursed Order, and instead has opted to be a recruit for the NECA World Order. I think.
Oh boy.
Playmates Apex Mecha Godzilla is pledging right now, Louis Spicolli style, to the NWO. And he even has his own shirt that he made himself for it. It's red. It's not the same color. It's supposed to be white, but he has the red shirt, and he's pledging to be part of that organization. We'll see what happens with that. If anything, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Are you rooting for him? Or are you not?
Find out on Twitter.
Fans' reactions.
Find out on Twitter.
Find out on Twitter, you said?
Yep. Yeah. That's where the OIWF plays out. That's our network deals on Twitter.
Yeah. And we're on Twitter at Odo Island Pod. You can follow us there.
We are grown men on Twitter, playing with our figures.
We are now 38-year-old men on Twitter.
Yes, as of this release, yes. Well, this was a good one, But what are we doing next?
Oh, well, something that I've wanted to do for a while, but I never had the discs to do it. We're going to talk about those golden age of 3D console Godzilla games from the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox era. You have Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Wait. You didn't say the Nintendo Wii anywhere in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was from the Wii too. Yeah. I apologize. It wasn't like malicious oversight. It was just, I was thinking of that console generation. I put the Wii in like the 360 generation. But we're talking about Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, which was one of my favorite games of the Xbox console. We have Godzilla Save the Earth and Godzilla Unleashed. All three of these games are looked back with very fond memories, rose-tinted glasses for a lot of people. A lot of people still clamoring for an update of these games on modern consoles to this day. And we're going to discuss that. Anything else going on in that episode you want to talk about? Or
we may have secured a special guest for that one, so we'll leave it there. We'll have the return of an old favorite.
All right.
But the Atari Pipeworks trilogy is in our future. I'm actually looking forward to playing through all of the games over the next 2 weeks until we record. So even though I have kind of played through some of them recently, it's like it. I will say, well, I can't really say this for the Wii version, but like when you start replaying Melee and Save the Earth, like you quickly get sucked into it, and you go like, oh yeah. These were awesome.
I did a few years ago. I haven't played it probably 3 or 4 years now, but when I set up my retro game room, I went and I got that Xbox for free at a yard sale. That was one of the first games I played, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!" Like the graphics look great. You can upload your own soundtracks from CDs to the Xbox. So like, you know, I threw on. Like,
oh yeah.
back in 2002, in high school, I put on like Ride the Lightning because it was the closest CD I had. I just put that album on there and was playing that game, and it lines up great with that game. It's a great soundtrack for it, but you could put on like whatever you want and just play through that game because like the background music is just sort of like stock, but like you could listen to whatever you want when you're playing it. It's great.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a deep dive on those games in the next episode. So I don't know. That's all I got.
It's all I've got too. Anything you want to leave the listener with? Any words of wisdom?
No, I just said that's all I got.
Well, Spadoinkle, and let's build a snowman. We can make it our best friend. We can name him Bob, or we can name him Beowulf. We can build him tall, or we can build him not so tall. Snowman.